At home on every rural road, Hyundai Country Calendar.
It's an historic Hawke's Bay farm with a difference.
The station's unusual because it is owned by two charitable trusts.
We give away our profits.
Once I found out that the money goes to charity, it sort of gives you a real buzz.
It is an amazing property, and it's a real privilege to be in the position we are to be a part of it.
Kerridoo Station is half an hour into the hills west of Hastings. Manager Danny Angland is always busy, but he loves his job.
Kerridoo Station has such a huge diversity. You know, nearly 10,000 ewes, 200 cows, up to 1,600 bulls, 50 to 100 hectares of cash cropping. We've got fodder crops. There's just so much happening, and I think that's the best thing about farming is that you get such a wide variety of jobs and a great learning property as well for young people coming through.
So we'll do the chemicals, chainsaw.
Yep.
The farm is overseen by Trust Chairman Royden Day.
This property's been in trust now for over 40 years, and with the trust deeds the way they are set up, we give away our profits.
The trusts have been able to give away, in my time, which is just over 8 years, more than $3 million, and that gives you a pretty good feeling that you know all your efforts are going towards good causes.
You're all right, come on, Sonny.
And some of Kerridoo Station's biggest profits come from fattening bull beef.
Yeah, so we're just weighing the R3 bulls at the moment. We've got 600 plus we want to kill before Christmas, and like I said, 900 in total. So yeah, we're having a very good spring at the moment. Grass growth's been brilliant. These bulls are doing over 2 kilos a day. This is where all the winter sort of pays off with all the break feeding we do.
Oh, he's a bit of a surprise, 662, boo.
662?
Yep.
The cattle policy on the station's obviously very important. It's a big part of the business, but it's actually very simple. We've got 200 mixed age cows, 80 replacement heifers that also go to the bull, and we have 2 age groups of bulls. But what's interesting is bulls will grow, some will grow faster than others. So we're weighing them, we're working out which one's going to be ready for the works in 2-3 weeks' time, and hence the colours on them. Is that the end of that mob?
Yeah.
Come on. A property this size, not one person can run, and we're all just a cog in the chain to make it happen. And there's 7 full-time staff on the property because it is so intensive. We pride ourselves in doing what we do well, and it's the reasons we get, the results we get is a real reflection on the staff and the people that work on the property. To me, that's probably the crutch of the station and why it works.
For a third-tier bull, he's all right. Come on, buddy.
Danny's right-hand man, Phil Hensman, has been on the farm longer than most.
I've been here for 25 years, and I was employed as a stock manager up at Thorn Flat, the breeding side of Kerridoo. And after 19 years, I was given an opportunity to come down to Kerridoo as the operations manager to run the more intensive side of the property.
Go, boys. Come on out.
And it's the engine room, really. This is where we make all the money. So I've had to sort of upskill myself. It was a very big change for me. I got to confess I didn't really enjoy it for the first year because it took me quite a while to get used to it, but I love it now, yeah.
When you're going through Thorn Flat and you're looking back down through onto the Kerridoo flats, you get this sense of awe that it's such a powerful property. It's 2,100 hectares effective and 2,800 hectares in total. So that 700 hectares, which is big gullies and big gorges, add to the character. It doesn't make it for easier farming, but there's some real character on this property, and the balance is just so good.
Danny, wife Robin and their 3 daughters relocated to the area to take this job on.
Nearly 9 years ago we moved from Gisborne down to Kerridoo. It was a pretty big move for us with the girls and quite a few changes, but I think it's been a really good move.
It was kind of a time of change for us anyway. I decided to give up working. It just became too much with 3 young kids and a husband that works a lot. So yeah, it was just the perfect timing, really.
But Robin still finds time for an active role in farm operations. She keeps everything on track in the office.
I'm a qualified accountant, which gives me some relevant skills to do the admin work here. To be fair, what I do is more of a PA role than an accounting role. Keeping Danny's chaos a little less chaotic in terms of the paperwork side of things. Hi.
There we are.
So did the meeting go all right?
Yeah, no, it was all good actually. It was pretty.
I'm very lucky that Robin's quite qualified in doing her job, being an accountant. Yeah, she keeps me on my toes, so it's very efficient, put it that way. So, yeah, we work well, I think, as a team like that.
The historic farm has many tales to tell. A lot of them are about its former owners, sisters Gwen Meldon and Ruth Nelson.
When Ruth and Gwen purchased Kirraroo, it was overrun with rabbits, there was scrub for Africa, and it was a really run-down place. In fact, the homestead, I think at that stage, was used as a hay barn. Nevertheless, the women were really bold, I think. I think they were really good pioneering women. The blokes would have been looking over the fence and saying, oh no. But they would have had their heads turned really quickly, I would have felt, that these women actually knew what they were doing, and they succeeded. And I think succeeded quite quickly.
In my opinion, the sisters were well ahead of their time to be bold enough to go out and buy a property of this size in the nowadays, let alone in the 40s, was pretty ambitious, and would have been very nice to have met them.
Built in 1906, the Grand Homestead has been gradually restored from a near derelict state.
It's hard to believe, but this beautiful panelled hallway back in the 1930s during the Depression was used to store hay, and the front lounge just through there was where they ran calves. It was because at that time the house wasn't occupied because the owners couldn't afford to maintain it. It's scary to think that a home like this, and there's probably other homes in the area that it was similar during that time, could have gone to rack and ruin, so it was really nice that new owners came along and were able to afford to restore it over time.
And the descendants of the former owners are still involved in the life of the station.
That's good.
On the massive Kirraroo station in Hawke's Bay in the hills west of Hastings, it's shearing time, and the stock are on the move. Stock manager Quentin Hunter oversees the breeding side of the farm at Thorn Flat.
We got 7,700 ewes, and this year we docked 10,607 lambs, so it was a very good year. Run 3,000 dry hoggets, and then we got 210 cows, which, yeah, I love my cows, so Angus cows, which are good. Yeah, we just put the bull out today, actually, so yeah, so he's all going. This time of the year we're very busy. We're sort of starting at 5 o'clock or at daylight, probably a little bit earlier if we can, to get the ewes home, or ewes and lambs home for weaning. Everyone gets a bit tired and tipsy, but yeah, we get there in the end.
Checking 7,000 ewes is a daunting task.
Drafting the ewes after shearing to take the culls out that we've marked for udders, and the 5-year-old ewes go down to fill, put to go to a terminal sire, and I've taken the fat ewe off just to go into the gorges over Christmas.
Checking udders for abnormalities or any that are missing teeth that have been cut at shearing or anything.
They'll shear about 1,800 a day, 6 of them, 8-hour day. They're very good shearers, they do a very good job, and yeah, they're very reliable, so it just makes our life a lot easier. Does that look right to you, Rolly?
No, I didn't realise you could count, Quentin.
Oh, not too bad. Previously, before I came here, there was a lot of places that wasn't as intensive, so it's quite good. We've got lucerne and plantain and everything. We're trying to get my head around, graze it properly, and yeah, I love it.
Back at home base, Robin's role also extends to maintaining the expansive grounds.
Okay, girls, so I'm just going to get you to go down into the fountain area and pick up all those cabbage tree leaves. Yep. A big part of my role here is spent outside maintaining the garden, which is about 1.5 acres, so it's quite a large garden. At the time when we came and looked at the job, it was made reasonably clear that maintaining the homestead garden was a big part of the role, and although I'd always really enjoyed gardening, I'd never had a garden of this scale, so it's been a really good learning curve, and I think I've probably made quite a few additions of my own in the time that I've been here, which has been really neat.
I think it's really cool living in Kiruru because it's such a nice house and garden, and like we really appreciate it because, you know, it's not ours, but it feels like our home.
It's quite a time-consuming task, but it's, you know, I really enjoy being outside, so it's makes a nice change from the office.
Danny and Robin's daughters have spent most of their lives at Kiruru.
We've been here for just about 9 years, and it's just been a wonderful place for kids to grow up. We've just had the most amazing rural school with a real focus on sport, which has just created this real legacy for the kids in terms of involvement in sport and just being really fit and really quite tough, I guess. Kiruru kids are pretty tough kids.
Oh. Okay.
And just, you know, a love of the outdoors really, I guess, is the other big advantage of kids growing up on a farm. You know, they have no real interest in TV and consoles and that kind of stuff. They'd much rather be out on the river swimming or tubing. Yeah, it's just a great place for the kids to grow up.
Get him, Butch.
11-year-old Jasmine is closely following in Dad's footsteps.
This is my huntaway Butch, and he is 8 months old. I'm going to teach him to be a farm dog. Kieran. Good boy.
She's taken on all the chores and the animals and absolutely loves it. Has a bit of a natural flair with animals, doesn't mind getting dirty at all. She actually trying to keep it clean sometimes can be the harder part. But she really enjoys it, and a bit of fun going out on the farm.
I like just being with animals and stuff. Yep, and it's just fun because you get to like make them friendly. Yeah, and they're like pretty good. Like they kind of like friends and stuff. Still hungry.
Living here gives the girls a huge playground to test their skills.
Yeah, they farm girls. I mean, when I first bought the motorbikes, it was quite interesting. A few people said, "Oh, where'd you buy a motorbike for? You got girls?" And I said, "I don't really. What's the difference? I don't care. They want to get out and they love it on the farm, and probably outride me occasionally as well, just quietly." Yeah, it's just, again, part of the building their confidence in doing stuff. It doesn't matter who you are, you can get out and have a bit of fun, and I just tell them don't let anything hold you back, have a crack.
The annual general meeting, and the trustees have come out to look around the farm. It's a big day for Danny and his team.
The worst case scenario is that autumn-winter drought.
Look, long as it rains in March or April, it's important.
I find today's quite an important day because it gives the trustees an opportunity to talk with all the staff, and it's not a them-us type scenario, it's a full team from the top right down to the bottom. It's an enjoyable, relaxing day, although it's still the AGM. It's a fun day.
I just want to, again, congratulate you all on an outstanding year, a really good year.
Two long tails around.
At the annual general meeting, we have a policy for distributing the surplus. This year was 437,000 that went to the trusts, and that seems to be about what we do annually. It's the two trusts that meet, so as a partnership we go around the farm, take a vital interest in what's going on, but also Danny and the team talking about the future and what their aspirations are for the blocks and how they want to manage things and what they want to change. It's about getting to understand, you know, because it's much easier on the block than in the office.
Phil said this will stay next winter.
Yeah, so no, what the plan is, we can use this for lambs now through the summer, and then we can actually just come in and direct drill oats back into it. So we don't have to turn it over and go back in.
Some trustees have a family connection to Kiruru.
Well, my name's Bill Nelson, and I'm a descendant, a nephew of Gwen Malden.
Of the trustees, yes, 3 are descendants, and the rest are vitally interested.
I get a big kick out of it, helping others, really, and seeing the benefit that money does.
Now the next generation is stepping up. People like Tessa Tiley.
It's really cool now being here, and it's far more beautiful than I thought it was going to be, and far bigger than I thought it was going to be. But knowing that we're carrying on the two sisters' dream of it helping Hawke's Bay, it's really special.
Last stop on the tour, and the trustees are keen to see the farm's latest purchase.
Can I hop in if you want?
Yeah, I do that. Very glad to.
Driver Andrew Bruce loves his new tractor.
Well, as you can see, it's been quite well looked after, and Andrew's quite proud of his tractor and was quite keen for the trustees to see it, and yeah, he's quite chuffed.
Yeah, we need a bigger farm now. Need to buy another 1,000 hectares.
Well, chop.
Tessa Tiley says the sisters who owned the farm had an abiding passion.
This is Taruna, where one of the two sisters, Ruth, lived with her friend Edna, and they were absolutely, I think obsessed is the word, on Rudolf Steiner, and this place now is completely committed to Steiner education. It's the Taruna Education Centre.
Tessa's involvement with Kiruru came from helping write its history.
I worked on the book and got to know all the history about the two sisters, and it's a fascinating story on its own, and knowing that they were my great aunts is amazing, and now being on the trust, knowing that history and knowing that I'm carrying on their legacy is just about, it's about as special as it can get. Yeah.
For now, the audience notes, Miss Riding.
Kiruru Station has an impressive history, but the trusts that run it benefit younger generations too. The tiny Hawke's Bay settlement of Kiruru wouldn't be the same without the generosity of Kiruru Station. Danny and Robin Angland have raised their children here and love the community spirit.
Don't fret, Wolf. It wasn't your fail. But now we shall move on to your tricky tale. A tale of triumph for pigs, it is said.
The station's always been involved with the community and the school, local hall as well. We've continued with that, supported it through donations from the trusts. The stations and staff have had children through the school.
No! Scott and Fitz with me! Now you can marry me!
Community has introduced the kids to so many things, music in particular. We've got a piano teacher that lives here locally, and she's just fantastic and probably has nurtured that love of music within the kids. Really gave them opportunities that we probably would never have pursued in Gisborne. So yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
On the farm, kale carries the stock through winter, but manager Danny Angland says in summer, lucerne comes into its own.
Get them both here. Move up.
When I first turned up at Kiruru, we had about 4.5 hectares of lucerne, and we're now at 96 hectares, so quite a major increase in area. Early lambing ewes with lambs at foot, where they come onto it, and we've gone consistently up every year with being able to finish more lambs off mum in the early stages, and that's then created a bow wave of lambs coming from the breeding unit down onto it, and we're finishing lambs to the works sort of between 10 and 12,000 homebred lambs a year, in conjunction with new grass as well, but that's because of the lucerne giving us a bit more room to do it.
Move up here.
A couple of reasons lucerne's very good in this area is we've got very light soils, and we're also prone to drying out quite quick, and obviously the lucerne have a very long taproot and can hold on a lot longer when it gets dry, and that was evident in 2013 when we had a very severe drought, and it's really been a game changer for the station as to what we can do.
Quiet.
Late December, and operations manager Phil Hensman and his team are in full swing, loading out prime bulls.
I've worked a good period of time at Thorn Flat as the stock manager up there, and it was the sort of extensive part of the property, the breeding side of the property, which wasn't quite as focused, getting stock away and coming down here, spreading my wings and getting to know how to finish stock has been a real challenge. It's been a good learning curve for me, and I've loved every minute of it, actually. Yeah, it's been great.
So today we're just loading out 2 unit loads of bulls. It's all the hard work combined to get this to this stage and get the bulls off, trucked off. So yeah, it's good to see them go.
We're trying to get sort of at least 2 unit loads out a week. We've done that since the beginning of November. So yeah, hopefully by Christmas we'll end up pretty close to 600 off the place. You work so hard through the year to get them to this point. You're shifting bulls in the middle of winter and on the kale, it's wet and cold, and then spring arrives and then you just get this huge sense of satisfaction and I guess pride out of it too. It's really good, yeah. We enjoy it, yeah.
The best thing about Kiru Station for me is just the property, the people. Being given the opportunity to manage it and be a part of its history is pretty rewarding and very satisfying. It is an amazing property, and it's a real privilege to be in the position we are to be a part of it.
This legacy will carry on. This legacy will be here long after we're all gone, and it's got that sort of history behind it, and it'll have a real lot of history in front of it. When you think about the generosity of the 2 women, it's just stunning, isn't it? It's just this wonderful picture of a legacy which will continue on forever.